George Floyd hasn't just horrified people in America, but the effects of what's happened on a street corner in Minneapolis on the 25th of May are being felt around the globe. As hundreds of thousands of people take to the streets to protest, to demand racial equality and an end to police brutality. In this My World special, I'll be joined by BBC reporter Chichi Azundu, who will help break down more of the historic context of the protests that we've been seeing. Plus, we'll find out what young people around the world think.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Before we delve deeper into the topic, let me take a quick moment to introduce myself. My name is Fatin Nabila and my metric number is 301237. Guys, imagine this. A man cries out, "I can breathe," but the world does not turn away. Instead, it listens, it rises, and its demands change. Here I am to tell the story about George Floyd. His tragic death in May 2020 sparked not just outrage but a global movement called the Black Lives Matter movement. Do you guys know that Black Lives Matter didn't just appear overnight? It began in 2013 after the death of Trayvon Martin. But Floyd's death was a breaking point, which is a moment that forced the world to face a painful truth. You guys should know that racism isn't just history, it's a reality. This wasn't just about one man. Names like Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery became rallying cries for justice. Cities from London to Tokyo resonated with chants of "No justice, no peace," and "Say his name." This wasn't just an American fight, but it was a global awakening. And then Gianna Floyd, George's young daughter, said something unforgettable. She said, "Daddy changed the world." Those 5 words reminded us all this is about real people, families, and communities affected by racism and violence. But the movement is more than protest. It's about change, reforming police practices, demanding equal opportunities in healthcare, education, and also housing. And yes, some changes have already begun. So, what does the Black Lives Matter teach us? That the fight against racism isn't over. It's in our hands, it's our voice united that can create a world where everyone is treated equally. Let's keep saying their names, let's keep fighting for justice, because together we can truly change the world.
Good morning everyone, my name is Nuri Sofia Betty Mama Azmi and my metric number is 302161. Today, I will present a critical review of scholarly perspectives on discrimination and the Black Lives Matter movement or BLM. This movement has brought global attention to systemic racism and discrimination, particularly against Black communities. To understand this issue better, I reviewed 2 journal articles. First is Psychology of Discrimination by Darius Dolinsky, which explores the psychological foundation of discrimination, and second, Implicit Racism, Colorblindness, and Narrow Definitions of Discrimination by West Greenland and Van Leer, which examines ideological factors influencing attitudes towards BLM. This article provides important insight into how stereotype, prejudice, and societal ideologies sustain racial inequalities. The first article written by Darius Dolinsky focused on the psychological roots of discrimination. Dolinsky distinguishes between 2 key concepts. First is stereotypes. These are cognitive beliefs about group traits which may not always reflect reality. Second is prejudice. Emotional response such as fear or hostility towards certain group. Both stereotypes and prejudice influence discriminatory behavior, but their impact depend on situational factors. For example, social norms can either amplify or suppress these tendencies. Another key idea is outgroup stereotyping, where people attribute negative traits to those outside their own group. This fosters division and exclusion. For example, if a group is seen as dangerous or dishonest, it may lead to racial profiling or inequitable treatment. In relation to BLM, Dolinsky's analysis shed a light on how attributed stereotypes like perceiving black individuals as threatening contribute to systemic issues such as excessive police force. His work emphasizes the need to challenge this stereotype to address racial inequality effectively.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Saiful Hafiz bin Hamzah with my matric number 30132. I will discuss the behavioral, psychological underlying the tragic murder of George Floyd. By examining the roles of the amygdala, prefrontal cortex (PFC), medial prefrontal cortex (MPFC), and mirror neuron system, we can better understand how implicit biases and neural mechanisms contribute to such acts of discrimination. To begin, the amygdala is an important brain area that detects dangers and processes fear. According to research, the amygdala becomes hyperactive when people interact with members of racial outgroups such as black people in predominantly white nations. In George Floyd's case, it is possible that his hyperactivity impacted the officer's subconscious view of him as a threat despite his cooperation and lack of violence. This implicit fear reaction can artificially trigger some circumstances and set the framework for discriminating conduct. Second, the prefrontal cortex or PFC is responsible for emotion regulation, bias suppression, and logical decision making. The policemen involved in George Floyd's murder were most likely unable to rethink their conduct, recognize Floyd's humanity, or stop the use of excessive force because of their PFC's reduced activity. Furthermore, the medial prefrontal cortex (MPFC) is essential for empathy and social interaction. In the story of George Floyd, this neurological process might explain why the cops did not respond to his pain or regard him with decency and respect. Dehumanization most certainly had a key factor in their sustained use of force, notwithstanding Floyd's obvious pain. Finally, the mirror neuron system is an important brain network for empathy. It activates when we see other people's activity or emotions, helping us to replicate and comprehend their experiences. In the instance of George Floyd, it appears that the cops' mirror neuron system were deactivated. In conclusion, George Floyd's murder demonstrates how implicit biases and disturbed brain processes can lead to tragic consequences. The overactive amygdala, poor PFC control, decreased MPFC activity, and disengaged mirror neuron system all contributed to Floyd's dehumanization and excessive use of force. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Fatina Desazoni binti Muhammad Jamil. My matric number 301860. I want to emphasize about theory of psychology. Social identity theory proposed by Henry Touchfield and John Turner in 1979 explained how people identify themselves based on the group they belong to, race, nationality, or team. This group identify influence how they see themselves and others. Key points: in-group versus out-group. People divide the world into us in-group and them out-group. They often favor their own group, in-group favorism, and may treat other group unfairly. Out-group discrimination, boosting self-esteem. Belonging to a group and viewing it positively make people feel better about themselves. Example: imagine two sport team A and team B. Fans of Team A feel proud when their team win and might say we're the best. They might also unfairly criticize Team B by saying they're terrible, even if both teams equally skilled. This favoritism for their own group, Team A, and bias against Team B show the dynamic of social identity theory. In the context of Black Lives Matter movement, supporters of Black Lives Matter in group may feel a sense of solidarity and belonging. Those who purpose or misunderstand the movement's theory. Implicit bias refer to unconscious attitude or stereotype that affect our thought and action. This bias work automatically without us realizing it. They can conflict with our conclusion belief about equality. Example, a teacher may unintentionally call on a boy more often than girl in math class, assuming boys are better at math. This bias happen unconsciously even if the teacher believes in treating all students equally. Black Lives Matter context implies bias affect decision in areas like policing, hiring, and healthcare. Black Lives Matter raise awareness and promote training to reduce this higher prejudice.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurmiza Karmila binti Kamarusli and my matric number is 302063. So, for the first suggestion is implementing implicit bias, and the objective is raise awareness and mitigate unconscious bias through training sessions. Next, for the training components, interactive workshops and self-assessment, which is workshops and seminars, is interactive sessions on the formation and impact of implicit bias, while self-assessment use tools like the implicit association test for personal bias identification. Next, case studies and role-playing are the real-world scenarios exercises in contexts like hiring, law enforcement, and education. Evidence-based research is a ground training in research such as studies showing reduced bias up to 8 weeks post-training. For first expected outcomes, increased bias awareness, which is it will heighten understanding of implicit bias and their effects. Next is discriminatory behavior, which is behavior change in a long-term reduction in discriminatory actions. Long-term impact through follow-ups is an ongoing impact that ensures sustained effectiveness through follow-ups and organizational support. Second suggestion is promoting intergroup contact. For the objective, reduce prejudice and improve social cohesion through positive interactions will foster interactions between diverse racial and ethnic groups. For the key strategies is a structure, programs, implement activities like community surveys, cultural exchange, and collaborative workshops to encourage meaningful engagement. For the equal status, it will ensure participants interact as equals to minimize power imbalance. Next is common goals. It designs activities that require cooperation on shared objectives. Next is institutional support. Secure backing from organizations and community leaders to legitimize efforts. For the expected outcomes is reduce prejudice. Based on a meta-analysis for 515 studies shows intergroup contact reduce bias in 94% of cases. Next is stronger social ties. It direct contact builds empathy and foster inclusive, respectful communities.